Hello everyone, and today we're back into another top 5. And today we are going to go over the top 5 best wall breakers in all of Loomian Legacy. So, the best wall breakers are the Loomians that can break through tanks and also one-shot most of the Loomians into the game, even if it's a neutral hit. So, these wall breakers, they hit very hard and are very dangerous, so let's get right into it. At number 5 under the list, it's actually 3 of them. I was predicting... So, I have Cosimore cracked, and there was 3 potential spots for this. I had Mootune that could have went here, Cosimore Unleashed could have went here, but I decided to go with Cosimore cracked because it was really good. It has very good offensive coverage. It hits very hard already, and it's really bulky. When with Mootune, despite hitting very hard, it is normal typing, so it struggles a lot. While with Cosimore Unleashed, it needs a good ability to wall break. But with Cosimore Cracked, it can already wall break really well. And with Hypnotize and Peace of Mind, Cosimore Cracked can hit very, very hard. Although this number 5 could be any of those 3. I could see any of those 3 being put onto this list. I mean, Mootune is one of the hardest hitting range attackers in the game. And Cosimore Unleashed is a really hard melee attacker, and with an ability can be really amazing. So any of those 3 could also be on this top 5, but I decided to go for Cosimore Cracked for a couple reasons. 1, it hits pretty hard. 2, there are not that many good range tanks in the game compared to melee. There are so many great melee tanks in the game. So melee wall breakers kind of struggle a lot more compared to the range wall breakers. So yeah, that's why Cosimore is at number 5 under the list. And plus, the fact that it can hypnotize people and put people to sleep, and then just Peace of Mind spam, just makes it really good, and that's why it's number 5. Number 4 to the list, it's actually going to be Carolyn. Now, Carolyn is the hardest melee attacker in the game, so of course he's going to be on the list somewhere. And with Hasty, it makes him hit even harder. With a pretty solid base speed, it has very good coverage, and despite Hasty's knack of missing, Carolyn is one of the hardest hitting Loomians in the entire game. I mean, it completely chunks Venolin's health, and keep in mind, Venolin doesn't have that much defense on the range, on the melee side. And Tundralin does half of Tundralin's health, which is just insane. Like, the best melee tank in the game, and it does half its health. And that's the thing, Carolyn hits so hard, and it definitely deserves to be on the list. Even though it misses so many times, and I struggle with it missing, its hard-hitting potential makes it deserve to be on the list. And there are a lot of other hard-hitting melee attackers that are also on this list. Also. I can't really speak today. Sorry, I've been doing a lot of videos at the same time. But, yeah, Carolyn. Carolyn at number 4 makes perfect sense. The reason why it's not higher is because, again, there are a lot of melee tanks in the game, and also, its knack of missing kind of makes it drop a bit. It doesn't put it in the top 3, which the top 3 Loomians are probably the hardest hitting Loomians in the entire game. So, yeah. So I can't wait to get to that. But Carolyn is still very good. Some people could put it in the top 3, some others, not at all. At number 3 under the list, it's actually going to be Zeppelin. And Zeppelin is amazing. Zeppelin definitely deserves to be in the top 3. I mean, 123 range attack is amazing. Turbulent increases normal type moves and turns it to air. And with Resonate, Provoke, Mudslide, and Peace of Mind, this thing sweeps easy money. I mean, Air Earth is amazing coverage for it. And with Resonate and getting that potential +1, Zeppelin can sweep in a matter of seconds. And with Mudslide, it can actually get rid of traps. You heard that. It can actually get rid of traps, which makes it even better. So it's not only a very hard-hitting range attacker that can break through pretty much most Loomians in the entire game, it even has barb removal and provoke, which just makes it amazing. It's one of the better provoke users in the game. I don't think it's the best one. I think Bonfino and Snagoop are a little better, but still, a provoke user nonetheless. And with Mudslide, you can get rid of traps anyway. If you get a +1 from Resonate, it's basically game over. There's nothing the other team can do to deal with you. And that's why Zeppelin is at number 3. And the only reason it's not higher is because the top 2 are just so good. The top 2 just hit so hard. So that's why it's number 3 and not any higher. But Zeppelin is amazing. And it's the highest, it's also the hardest range attacker on this list. There's not a range attacker that hits harder on this list. So, there we go. Let's get to the number 2 slot. And in number 2, it's going to be one of two. It's going to be Wrestling. Now, with Wrestling at number 2, you probably know who number 1 is. But number 2 actually hits harder than number 1. 1, it has more melee attack. And 2, it has Ace. Ace makes it hit so hard. And Wrestling can sweep so fast. I mean, I'm serious. Wrestling is one of the hardest hitting attackers in the game. There are not many Loomians that can hit harder. And with bulk up and stretch, you outspeed everything in the game after a stretch. So, with solid speed and great attack, this makes Wrestling one of the hardest hitting melee attackers in the game. And you're going to see in a second that it's actually going to break through Obsidragon, which is just insane to even think about. Breaking through Obsidragon is something that you don't really expect melee attackers to do, but Wrestling does like it's no problem. But yeah, Wrestling is number 2. The only reason it's not higher is because, you know, no priority. And that's what number 1 has compared to number 2. Priority does make it so it can outspeed anything in the game when you really need it to. But it doesn't matter. Wrestling hits very hard. And if it had priority, which, I think fair, it does have quick pounce, but it doesn't get boosted by Ace, so I don't really count it that much. I kind of want to count it if it had quick punch. It would be the most OP thing in the game. But even with quick pounce, you could run it as priority. It can be used, but quick punch is just better. And that's what number 1 has. So let's get right to it. In the number 1 slot. So, here we go. Let's get right to the number 1 slot onto this list. Now, the number 1, it's actually going to be Mutagon. Now, yeah, Mutagon, I think it makes sense. Heavy Fist. And even though it only has 104 melee attack and Heavy Fist, that doesn't increase its damage as much compared to Ace. Brawn Boost. Quick Punch. You win. That is basically why Mutagon's number 1. It's banned in literally every tournament. And with Quick Punch and Brawn Boost, it makes it almost unstoppable. Yeah, that's why Mutagon's number 1 is Quick Punch. If it wasn't for Quick Punch, Wrestling would definitely be number 1, and Mutagon would probably be number 3 or 4. But since it has Quick Punch all by itself makes it number 1. And it makes sense. I mean, outspeeding everything in the entire game is just really huge for Mutagon. And also, you know, telekinetic sweep, really good coverage. Like, Brawler Mind is amazing offensively. It can hit so many different typings. Like, there's only like 1 or 2 counters in the game. It's Vesperatu and Dusket. They're the only 2 that can really counter Mutagon because it hits that hard. And eventually, it just breaks through your team like it's no problem. And yeah, that's why Mutagon is number 1. It makes sense. It has Heavy Fist. It has Quick Punch. It has Brawn Boost. Telekinetic with a chance to daze. And it even hits multiple Loomians. So, Mutagon being number 1 makes it the best wall breaker in the entire game. And there are not many better wall breakers than that. So, yeah, Mutagon easily and handily takes the number 1 slot. So look at this. Quick punch that Valkyrie and he is gone. So here he is. Mutagon at his home place. Right into the vault. And I hope you guys enjoyed this top 5. This is a very weird one. This is kind of similar to the tanks. There's a lot of wall breakers that could be on this list. What are your top 5 in the comments? What are your top 5 best wall breakers in the game? Because it would be very interesting to see. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see y'all all later. Bye-bye!